My name is Shawn Miyahara, and I'm an internal database manager. It's kind of a funny story. I worked for a company that Brett had worked for and actually moved on to a separate part of the company. And I was actually hired to take his position in that company. And we were going through training and asking questions, and everyone would say, well, Brett said to do it like this, and Brett said this was the protocol. And it was always like, well, who's Brett? And going on, I started doing the training for that project, and I started using it. Well, Brett said we do it like this, and this was Brett's protocol. And then I went on in the company and actually ended up in the same office that he was working at. And I met him, and I didn't put it together right away. He started talking about something, and I said, "Are you the Brett?" And he said, excuse me? And I said, I think you're the Brett that I've literally been talking about for 2 years and had no idea. And I think that just speaks volumes on leadership, that he moved on from a project and an entire group of people kept him as their leader. People that didn't even know him. I walked into a position, I had no idea who this Brett was, and we followed his leadership without him even being there. And I think I have just kept that as such a pivotal leadership personality that is such an amazing goal to have for myself, that if I leave somewhere, I want them to say, well, Shawn said, this is the right way to do it, and this is the protocol, because it left such an impact on so many people. Brett has so many qualities, and to describe Brett's leadership is probably hard, but I think the best way I can do it is to say that he's clear and consistent. He has this ability to sit in a room, and he might not take on the leadership role, as in he might not be the person at the top of the room speaking, but he has this ability to control an environment. So we have chaotic leaders like myself. I'm a little bit chaotic. I can get wrapped up in things, and I get emotional and charged, and I think a lot of people do that because we care. Brett has the ability to care and also take on this clear and stable ability to lead. And so he can calm a room down, and you can only move forward if you have this stable, clear communication. And Brett brings that to the table, and he leads groups. I can only speak to what I have learned, and I expect people to learn the same thing because it's so powerful, and it's that same clear communication that he has. And he has the ability to make people not feel stupid. I can sit there and talk to him and know that I'm wrong, and know that he knows I'm wrong, and he's not gonna stamp my forehead with the stupid stamp. He's gonna let me come to the conclusion on my own while he guides me through it. And that's what I've learned and walked away from, is that when I'm talking to people and I might know they're wrong, I need to put away my stupid stamp and talk to them and communicate, because that's how it's gonna be effective, and that's the only way it's gonna be effective. 3 years ago, I didn't even know who he was, and he impacted my life already. I didn't know who he was when I stepped into a role, and his leadership impacted me. And then when I met him, it just kept impacting me. And I can say, I truly believe that if he goes into places and helps people, he's gonna teach them how to have that ability, and he's gonna teach them how to have effective communication as a leader.